Hello, my name is Amber Sackman, and I chose to do my current and emerging trends in curriculum project over project-based learning. So what is project-based learning? Project-based learning is exactly what it sounds like. It's students gaining deeper knowledge through projects. A more detailed definition of project-based learning is a teaching method in which students learn by engaging in real-world and meaningful projects. According to Janet Hale from CurriculumDecisions.com, project-based learning, or PBL, provides an educational environment that creates meaningful context to apply both academic and success skills that embrace the application of caring about and for the greater good, according to John Dewey. Now, John Dewey, one of the origins of project-based learning, came from him. He was a leader in education in his day, and he still influences educators today, conveying that learning should not be the acquisition of a rote set of skills. He believed that learning should be the realization of one's full potential and the ability to use those skills for the greater good. Now, there are many benefits of project-based learning, but I list a couple here. So, the 4 workplace necessities, by putting them into practice, are the first C's: collaboration, creativity, and innovation, critical thinking, and communication. Other benefits of project-based learning can be a growth mindset, which would help you realize your strengths and weaknesses, and authenticity, which would be relevant to students' lives in future experiences. So why should we go with project-based learning? Well, schools become much more engaged through active participation in projects that focus on real-world issues rather than passively attending classes. Furthermore, project-based learning provides content and skills that students can actively apply in future life events and situations. I know that when I was growing up in school, I gained more knowledge when I was doing a hands-on project-based learning than if I would just be sitting and attending a class. Students can also solve problems that are important to them and in their communities. So like this picture that is being provided, students working on a project together. Students can retain deeper learning and understanding of the knowledge, which is what I was getting at when I was talking about me as a student. I know that I retained deeper learning and understanding of what was being taught when I was in school if I was working on a project. Project-based learning can also give students a sense of purpose, like they're actually doing something, they're working towards something. They can also gain skills that are needed to use in today's workforce. So like a transfer of knowledge, something that they're working on, a project that will transfer over to what they are going to be doing later in life. And it also creates rewarding student and teacher relationships. So it helps them build a foundation by working on projects. So we're going to go over to technology. It's the 21st century, and technology is a very important part of school, especially right now during COVID, when a lot of our stuff is moving towards technology. So how does technology and project-based learning work together? Students and teachers today are very familiar with new technology and technological tools. When deploying project-based learning, students are able to perform better research, collect outside information, and collaborate easier and faster with fellow students, teachers, and industry experts, according to Educators of America. Using technology, students who are more able to better display their presentations. So instead of doing trifolds or any type of paper pamphlets, instead of that, they would be able to use any type of technological tool to be able to display their presentation. They can also present in and out of the classroom. So even if they're not in the classroom, they can still present because they will have their display on their computers. and they would be able to store data and information better on their computer. So here was an example of project-based learning when I was doing my research that I had come across, that they took something that was a real-world issue and they put it into a project-based learning activity.
In tiny houses. Remember? For this project, you are going to design a home. You're going to plan a home. You're going to build a home. This project, the Tiny House Project, is where students are designing tiny houses. Remember, when you're going to build this, we have to think about who's living in the house. Yep. There was a boom in tiny homes. Just the idea of living in one, just because in the city the population is growing and there's more people, less room, and maybe a tiny house is more cost efficient, more green. Would you like to have your own room?
Yeah.
Would you like to have your own space?
Yeah.
Okay. The driving question was, how can we as a design team design a house for clients, taking into consideration budget and location and personal preferences? Build homes. The entry event was Minecraft. So they used Minecraft to build just a house that they would build for their family.
This is inside the house. This is where, like, the sofa, and over here is where I sleep.
They're able to use their creativity. They're able to just be free and just to build without anybody giving them parameters. Back to our project and this driving question. What do we need to know to answer this question?
Like, say they have family that's going to come live with them. They have to think about that. Like, have a guest room.
The Minecraft building sparked, like, how many rooms do we build? And so they came up with their need to knows. Any other need to knows you'd like to add?
You have to imagine how much it costs.
Well, we have to know, like, how many kids there are or how big the family is, and are those questions that you think you should ask the client? And they're like, yeah. And so we come back to the driving question, we came back to the need to knows, and we came back to their entry event just so that they can get some questions that are appropriate for their project to their clients.
What is the minimum square footage you want?
400 feet.
Do you want a second story?
Yes, the second story would be good.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
Automatic.
I think it's important for them to know that there's a real client because it gives the project more authenticity.
Would you like to have a garden outside your house?
Yes. When they form a relationship with the client, then they start to care about what the client thinks.
This is the final product. This is what the construction documents look like. But not too different from that concept drawing, right? We have the bedrooms up here, master bedroom in the corner.
So I asked an expert to come and present to the students, and he was actually a structural engineer.
You're going to see elevations. Just kind of look at what kind of information is on there. How do you tell a wall is a wall? You can see you put two lines parallel to one another.
And we talked about making blueprints and what does that look like, or having a layout.
Oh, look at it. Even has pens right here. Wow. I want these. I want
These are called elevations.
I think they were really excited about seeing the blueprints because it was just real things that they can hold, they can touch, and they can see, and they know that engineers touched it, and engineers made this, and this is what we're going to do. All right, we're going to move into our next rotation. On this side, we have front row and RAS kids for listening to reading and answering comprehension questions. So as we plan the project, we think about the standards that we're going to be using. In this project, we're using opinion writing or reading of informational text, and we integrate that into like a daily rotation of in English language arts. So this is an article from NASA, and it's called Tiny House Fun. If you have something you want to highlight, like you want to get back to, or a word that you really don't understand and you want to learn more about that, you can highlight some words. So on that day, I had a group and we were looking at informational reading. And then another group, they were listening to a book that had to do with houses. And then another group was working on vocabulary. And all the vocabulary is part of the project. And then another group was just doing their read to self, and that's just books that they're interested in, so they're practicing reading independently. Write your name at the top. For math rotations, we call it math with the teacher, math with technology, and math with the partner. The house size that your client wanted. And then I'm working with the group, and we're really looking at area and perimeter and the difference between area and perimeter. Okay, so can you tell me what the square units are here? Another activity that we did with math was the Cheez-Its math. When they looked at square footage, we said that each Cheez-Its was 1 square inch, and they used that kind of information to do square footage within a house. It was just kind of a connection for them. To help them refine their designs of their homes, students went through a feedback protocol.
I turned the bathtub from here to here because I know that you can't get to the toilet things like that. There's the bathroom with the shower. Yeah.
They were paired up with another group, and they presented their models, they presented their blueprints and their layout, and they talked about what was in the house and who their client was, just to get some feedback from their peers.
Our client is Miss Pena. Her age is 39. Her budget is $40,000.
Within the fishbowl protocol, what we did was, me and another teacher, we sat in front of a presenting group, and everyone else looked around us, just like a fishbowl where they're not to talk, they're not to say anything, they're just really listening and seeing the interaction between the presenter and the guest.
I like how you do go into the living room, but maybe push the bedroom in the back, and then that way she has more privacy. And
the purpose of looking at that interaction between the audience and the presenter is so you can think about questions, you can think about behavior within the meeting, and so they can use that as a model for when they go back to their groups.
This is the laundry area, and then here's the pantry to store all the clothes. Right here we have a little office.
We practice different ways to present to their clients. We talk about eye contact, we talk about confidence, we talk about postures, we talk about volume of your voice.
Hello, my name is America. Hello, my name is Christopher. And the title of our project is Tiny Houses. Our driving question of this project is, given a budget, how can we as a design team plan a home for a family?
The last day of this journey is for them to really present their work to their clients. And they were so excited.
Did you have a hard time building the house?
Kind of, yeah. We had to redo some of the walls so that they were the exact measurement. There's the master bedroom. The middle is the kitchen. Here's a room.
They shared their blueprints, they shared their layout, they shared their budget, and they shared their opinion paragraphs that they wrote so that they can try to persuade their client to purchase their home.
Alright, I really love that example of project-based learning, and it really showed the way that the kids were building the project of the tiny home, and they were presenting it, and the different types of math that was integrated in the project. I thought it was a really good one. And here are the resources that I used. And that is my presentation over project-based learning.